I'm just going to make this perfectly clear. I'm not going to judge Ezra Miller as a person. I'm going to judge him as an actor. We get it, he's done really bad things and they're very unforgivable. But I am going to judge Ezra Miller how he betrays Barry Allen / The Flash in this movie than him as a person in general. What is up, guys and DC fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Brinkat, and finally, the most, I would say, delayed comic book movie ever has finally arrived. Today, I'm going to review one of my anticipated comic book movies of the year, and that movie is The Flash. This movie is directed by Muschietti, who directed the first two It films, and this movie stars Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, and Sasha. Now, of course, guys, for people who have not seen The Flash, you've guessed it, it's a non-spoiler review. I'm going to keep this review as vague as possible because there's so many things happening in The Flash. So you guys are completely safe here for people who have not seen The Flash yet. Now, my most anticipated comic book film of the year, one of them. Now, it's finally here. Let's review this shit. Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save humanity. Man, this is probably one of the most delayed comic book films ever, because this movie was meant to come out in 2018. It was announced in 2016 that Flash is doing his own solo movie, and it was meant to come out in 2018, but of course, due to the pandemic, Ezra Miller himself, Warner Brothers issues, this film has been delayed so many times. Now in 2023, this film has finally arrived. And I'm not gonna lie, with those delays, it made me anticipate for this film less and less. And now my hype is back up after the trailers came out. It got me intrigued, it got me excited, not expecting anything perfect coming out of this movie. I just want this film to be a fun Flash movie. And with those positive reviews that this film is surrounding, saying this is one of the better comic book films probably since The Dark Knight, I'm like, okay, I'm actually really excited for this film. So, we are here, guys, The Flash, the movie that everyone has been waiting for. The movie that apparently is going to be the movie that's now going to reset James Gunn's DC Extended Universe. Does this movie deliver? Does this movie exceed my expectations? Oh my god, absolutely. The Flash is awesome. This is definitely the most fun I had with a comic book movie this year so far. But, is this film the best comic book movie like the early review said it is? No, this movie is not perfect. I would say Across the Spider-Verse is heaps better than The Flash. But, I would say this is one of the better DC Extended Universe movies that came out in a while. Of course, let's start talking about the cast in this movie. Now, Ezra Miller. I'm just going to make this perfectly clear. I'm not going to judge Ezra Miller as a person. I'm going to judge him as an actor. We get it, he's done really bad things and they're very unforgivable. But I am going to judge Ezra Miller how he betrays Barry Allen / The Flash in this movie than him as a person in general. And I think Ezra Miller does a really terrific job in this film as Barry Allen. I remember in Justice League, I was not a fan of him. And then with Zack Snyder's Justice League, he improves more and more. This movie, he proves to me that he betrays a great Barry Allen / The Flash. We follow his story the whole way through in this film. With all this multiverse stuff happening in this film, this is still Barry Allen's story. And you really root for Barry Allen in this movie because the stuff he does in this film, we see him learn from it. Because of course, all he wanted to do is save his mother from murder. And after that happened, of course, there are consequences that happen. And you see Barry Allen learn consequences throughout the film. And I think the way to portray Barry Allen in this film is really well done. And Ezra Miller, I think he does a terrific performance in this film. Especially him playing two versions of Barry Allen. I love them two versions of Barry Allen in this film. I thought their chemistry was really fantastic in this film. It creates a lot of humor to the film, but also a lot of heart. I love the chemistry between two Barry Allens in this film because they're basically total opposites in this film. And I love how the opposites really attract in this film with two Barry Allens in the film. I thought it makes this film quite different and original with a comic book movie. But of course, guys, the standout in this film is absolutely Michael Keaton returning, portraying as Bruce Wayne / Batman. I grown up with Michael Keaton, you know, Batman and Batman Returns are two really good comic book movies, and I thought Michael Keaton is a great Batman. It is so good to have him back in this movie. He's still got it, you know, he still knows the character very, very well. Seeing him betray Batman again puts a big smile to my face, and I thought Michael Keaton is fantastic in this movie. When he throws down in this film, he is badass in this film, and I thought he also has a really good chemistry with Ezra Miller in this film. Also, Sasha Calle as Supergirl. Now, she's not the hugest standout in this film. She wasn't in the film all that much, but when she's on screen, she is awesome in this film. She's a great new addition to the DCU, and I thought Sasha Calle does a really good job in the film, and I want to see her more stuff. I think she is a terrific actress. But of course, guys, The Flash has some of the most coolest action scenes that I've seen in the DCEU. There are some really awesome scope with the action scenes. Like, this movie is huge when it comes to the action scenes. Just with the aspect ratio, with the IMAX ratio, I think that's the best way to put it, because the action scenes, it's fantastic. There are some really cool moments in The Flash when it comes to the action scenes, and I thought Muschietti directed these action scenes very, very well. Now, the visual effects, I would say it's half and half for me. It's half good, half bad. The good visual effects are there in this film. When you see the Flash running in this film, it looks awesome in this film. It looks pretty good. Like, not all the visual effects in this movie are bad, which we'll get to the flaws of the film. I think the visual effects, for the most part, are pretty mixed. I would say that. But there are some really good visual effects in this movie, especially when you see the Flash run and other stuff like the Batwing. It looks really good. Especially with the action scenes, it looks really cool on the big screen. But I think, in my opinion, one of the biggest standouts of the Flash is the story. Like I said, this is Barry Allen's story about him learning what he learns, and you really root for Barry Allen in this film, and the way they've written Barry Allen in this film, I think it's a perfect way to present a Flash movie in the DC Extended Universe. I thought this movie is written extremely well, and I thought the story of the film is definitely one of my biggest standouts. I follow it the whole way through from start to finish, and I just thought the characters are very likable in this film. And the whole multiverse stuff that's happening, there are some big surprises in this film. There are some shock values as well in this film. There are moments in this film where I don't know how audiences are going to feel about it, but I really do like what they did with some of the shock values and surprises in this film, even Easter eggs. I thought they portrayed that really well in The Flash, and it's really hard to keep this review as vague as possible because there's so many moments in The Flash where I'm like, holy shit. But of course, this is a non-spoiler review. I'm keeping this review as vague as possible. Even the score of this movie is awesome in the film. Of course, since Michael Keaton is back as Batman, they bring back the classic Danny Elfman theme, and it brings a huge smile to my face. But of course, the rest of the composing score of this film, what they did with The Flash and Supergirl, I thought the themes are really well done in this film, and the score really helps the film. Also, the soundtrack, I would say, is really well done in this film. This film is definitely hilarious. There are some great comedic moments in this film, but also, there are some great heartfelt moments, and that's why I'm saying, like, the story of this film is still there, because there are some great emotional value to the film, but also some lighthearted humor into the film. I think this film does a great job of combinating those things. But of course, The Flash, I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie, because it does have flaws. I would say, like, this movie is a bit too overhyped than it is with the early reviews, because this is definitely not one of the best comic book movies since The Dark Knight. Absolutely not. I would say an example, in my opinion, of the best comic book movie since The Dark Knight is The Batman, because it felt like a film, in a way. It felt like a film that puts a lot of effort into it. The Flash, the story, it has a lot of great effort into it. The action has a lot of great effort into it. The characters have a lot of great effort to it. But I think the thing that is missing that would make The Flash one of the better comic book movies in a while is honestly the visuals, because there are moments in The Flash where the visuals look really bad. Like, seriously, there are some moments where the visuals look like you're seeing it in a PS3 game. It really looks that bad. There are moments of this film where there are surprises, but the visual effects kind of took it over, and it makes you kind of think, it kind of ruins it quite a bit. I feel like the visual effects of this movie could have been much better, and then they even made an excuse that's saying these visual effects look pretty bad on purpose. I honestly find it as a big excuse, honestly, no matter what he said. I just find the visual effects pretty noticeably bad in my personal opinion anyways. Like, I get what he is saying, but at the same time, like, at least put a little bit more effort with it. But overall, guys, The Flash absolutely exceeded my expectations. This is definitely one of the better DC Extended Universe movies that came out in a while. I thought the story was great for a Flash movie. Ezra Miller, despite him as a person, I thought he does a terrific job as Barry Allen, and I think this is one of his better performances as the Flash in this movie. I thought Michael Keaton was great as Batman. Sasha also is great as Supergirl. The action scenes are awesome. The story of the film, you follow it the whole way through. It's funny and very heartfelt. You root for Barry Allen in this film because that's one of the things I liked about this film, is that even though there's a lot of things happening in this film, this is still Barry Allen's story, and I really do appreciate that in this film. This film has great Easter eggs, great surprises, but the only issue is the visual effects. There are some visual effects moments that look really freaking terrible, but overall, The Flash was definitely a great time for me, and I am going to give The Flash an A-. That's my personal opinion of The Flash. This movie, I know it's pretty mixed by a lot of people. I know this movie did flop at the box office. Honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. That's just my opinion anyways. If you want to do something about it, let me know what you think of The Flash in the comments below. Do you like the movie, hate the movie, or you thought it's okay? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notify for more movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.